Welcome to the Evingson Wellness Blueprint, the podcast that takes you on a transformative journey to holistic health and well-being. Join hosts Matthew and Rebecca as they deep dive into the world of wellness, exploring a wide range of holistic modalities, alternative healing practices, and evidence-based approaches to living a vibrant and balanced life.
Embarking on a transformative journey from a seasoned IT professional to a catalyst for personal and professional growth, Michael J. Pope Jr. discovered his true calling in nurturing human potential. With over 2 decades of experience in the tech industry, Michael realized that the essence of fulfillment transcended beyond technical achievements. This epiphany led him to pivot his career towards developing people, not just software. Michael's quest for personal development led him to acquire extensive certifications from globally acclaimed experts, including leadership guru John C. Maxwell and renowned neuropsychologist Dr. Joseph McClendon III. His dedication and prowess in these disciplines propelled him to esteemed teaching roles within these organizations, garnering him numerous accolades and recognition. At the heart of his mission lies a commitment to guide organizations and individuals in navigating both technological and leadership landscapes. Through Michael Pope Training, LLC, he leverages his expertise to offer impactful presentations and workshops, blending his IT acumen with his passion for leadership development. His unique approach has earned him the moniker the Coach's Tech Guy, a testament to his skill in making technology approachable and empowering. Beyond his professional endeavors, Michael's life is enriched by his 26-year marriage to Sonia and the joy of raising their 3 sons in Ohio. His personal interests include maintaining his fitness, deepening his spiritual journey, and sharing his love for superhero movies with his family. Michael's story is a testament to the power of personal evolution, inspiring others to find deeper meaning in their careers and lives. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Rebecca. Happy to be here on your show.
Tell me about how you got started in technology.
I've always loved video games. My mom purchased me my first computer was a Commodore 64. I found out that I could actually write my own games, and I started doing that, and my love for computers really just took off. And when I was in the 7th grade, I submitted my first game to a computer magazine, and they paid me $300, which felt like $1 million at the time. And from that moment on, I knew that I wanted to do something with technology. Yes.
Wow. Well, one of the things that I admire about you, Michael, is your passion for personal development and your ability to communicate. So tell me about how those worlds blended together.
Absolutely. I was born a natural introvert, low self-image, terrified of public speaking. And so I needed to grow personally. I remember when in 1997, when I moved here to Ohio, I I struggled with my low self-image. And so I ran into an entrepreneur named Percy. And I remember asking him because he was so good with dealing with people, had so much confidence. And I was like, Percy, how are you able to be so confident with dealing with people? What's your secret? And so he just looked at me and grinned. And he said, Michael, it's based on the people that I associate with in the books that I read. He said, if I give you a book, will you read it? And so he handed me the book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And to be honest with you, Rebecca, at that time, I hadn't read a book from cover to cover in years. And so I looked at it, it was 200 something pages. In my mind, I was thinking, I'll probably never read this. I took it and I put it on the shelf at home. But 2 weeks later, Percy called me up. He said, hey, Michael, this is Percy. We chatted a little bit. He said, hey, how are you liking that book? And I said, oh, Percy, I haven't been able to get to it. I just started this new job. I'm still learning my work, still getting used to the city here. And, in the next 10 years or so, my wife and I are planning to have kids. So I really just haven't had time to do it. And so he kind of grinned at me. And he said, Michael, you think you can read maybe one chapter? I said, sure. He said, go grab the book. So I made sure you have the right chapter. So I went and grabbed the book. And it was this book right here, The Magic of Thinking Big. And he said, turn to chapter 2 and read the title to me. Chapter 2, it said, Excusitis, the failure disease. And Rebecca, I read that chapter immediately. And what I realized was that every failure in my life was a direct result to the excuses I've been making. The stories that I've been telling myself, those were causing me to fail. So I made it a point to really jump into personal development. Started with this book first, and then Percy introduced me to other books. But I made it a point to try to eliminate excuses from my life. And I'm not perfect at it, but I'm doing a great job of eliminating those excuses on a daily basis. That was really my introduction into personal development.
Incredible story of how that propelled you in such a direction for your future.
Thank you.
Michael, tell me more about how that continued to snowball with relation to communication and brought you to be a speaker.
Absolutely. Great question. So I started reading books and associating with great leaders thanks to Percy's help. And so my confidence increased. However, I still struggle with public speaking. I still had a fear of it. So in 2003, I joined Toastmasters International and I was asked to give my first speech. It was a short 4-minute speech and I was absolutely terrified. I still remember that day sitting in that room. It was maybe 12 people in a room. I was in the back of my seat and I came on a bad case of the what ifs. What if I forget my line? What if they don't like me? What if they laugh at me? And when the person called my name, my heart was pounding. And I slowly walked up to the front of the room. And I remember shaking hands with them and my hands dripping with sweat because of how nervous I was. And I looked out at the crowd and my nervousness continued to increase, Rebecca. I grabbed my notes and I was like, hello, my name is Michael. Those 4 minutes felt like 4 hours. And after I was done, I was a little embarrassed. However, I was also a little relieved because I knew I was starting the journey of overcoming my fear of public speaking. I was taking that next step. And that led to me doing my next speech and my next speech and my next speech to the point where I learned how to become confident in front of people, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's thousands of people in a room. I've learned how to overcome it by taking it one step at a time.
So powerful. That reminds me of an audio clip, and the saying goes like this: one day or day one, what's it going to be? And
Love that.
you are such a great example of that because it wasn't comfortable, but you turned your one day into day one, and then it just has blossomed from there. Any other techniques that you use to develop your self-confidence?
Absolutely, Rebecca. So for me, there's lots of tools that I use over the years. Joseph McClendon III taught me what he called the mirror technique. Anytime I walk past a mirror, I need to look at the mirror eye to eye, and I'll say, hello, Michael, you're amazing. I love you. Today is going to be a great day. And I'll say different affirmations to myself depending on what I need. And that really helped to boost my self-confidence. I'll still do that today. I'll be in my car driving to a speaking engagement and I'll start spurting affirmations in the car. Hey, Michael, you're amazing. They're going to be excited to hear your message today. You're going to make a difference. You're going to impact lives. And I say those over and over. And then Joseph also taught me a process that he calls before, during, and after. So before I get up to give a presentation, I'm sending lovely thoughts to my audience, thinking about how much I love them, how much I really want to help them go to that next level, right? So I'm thinking positive thoughts about my audience. And then, of course, during the presentation, I'm prepared. So I'm not having to think about the words in my presentation. I'm thinking about the impact I'm making on the audience. And then afterwards, I'm celebrating the success that I did, right? So it's that whole before, during, after where you end up celebrating it. And it just reinforces that behavior. So it makes it where I'm able to be so confident in dealing with people because I know that I'm doing it for them and to make an impact on them. So that really helps me out a whole lot. Affirmations, the mirror technique, before, during, and after.
Fantastic recommendations and a mindset shift to take your focus away from pressure of you as a presenter to why am I doing this and who do I want to serve?
Yes. Yeah, that was something my grandpa Joe taught me when I was a young boy. I remember him saying, Michael, to make serving others part of who you are. He lived it, he demonstrated it, and it sticks with me.
He sounds like a very special man.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Michael, tell me about the quote that I can see behind you on the wall.
Yeah, it's an amazing quote. It's from Maya Angelou. And for those of you who can't see it, it says, they may forget what you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And so that quote means a lot to me. And I keep this on my wall because one of my clients gave it to me at a conference not too long ago. I mean, she walked up to me, it was wrapped up, and she said, Michael, I saw this and I immediately thought of you. I was like, wow, I love those words, but I really appreciate that I demonstrate this to her in her life. And this is a powerful quote. They may forget your words, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. I think about the different mentors in my life, how they've made me feel like my grandpa Joe. The things that I saw him do, it stays with me. You know, and my grandpa Joe, he was a double amputee. So his legs were cut off below the knee. Rebecca, I would watch him crawl on his knees and he would put on his two heavy prosthetic legs and he would go out and serve the community. His wife, my grandma, had a stroke on the left side of her body, and my grandpa Joe would wipe and clean her face, and he would patiently feed her. And I learned patience from him, and I learned serving from him. But he also served out in the neighborhood with his prosthetic legs on. He would go around, he would drive other neighbors to the doctor or to the store because he had a car, and some of them didn't. Even though some of them, in my opinion, were healthier than he was, but he never let his limitations stop him from serving.
What an incredible man, and what a beautiful human to learn from. Tell me about working with the John C. Maxwell team.
Absolutely. Back in 2019, when I decided I wanted to go into the world of coaching and I wanted to be certified, I thought back to who I learned from initially. And so one of the first leadership books I ever read was by John Maxwell. It was Developing the Leader Within You. And that book taught me that I could be a leader right where I was at, that I didn't have to be a title. I didn't have to have a title. I could just be a leader because leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I joined his team in 2019. I became certified in 2020. And then in 2021, an opportunity came up for me to actually join the team in a paid capacity as one of the faculty instructors for some of the other coaches. And so I've been very fortunate to be able to do that for the last couple of years. It's been an amazing opportunity, getting closed door settings with John Maxwell and some of the other great leaders in that organization. It's been a great experience for me.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. So, Michael, for people that are interested in taking radical action and making change in their life, what would you recommend?
It's a great question. So anyone who's looking to take radical action in their life, I would refer them to my acrostic DOER, DOER. And so the D in DOER stands for discipline. My mentor, Joseph McClendon, says that discipline is doing a prescribed activity no matter what, even and especially when it's difficult. And so what that means is if if they really have a desire to take action and they're working with a mentor or a coach, and that coach says, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z, then they need to discipline themselves enough to do it. Even and especially when it's difficult. And let's face it, sometimes it's going to be difficult. So that's very important. The O in DOER is all about being opportunity focused. And for me, this is really putting yourself out there and being open to those opportunities, like really having your antennas out where you're actively looking for opportunities, but also making it known that you want opportunities. One of my requests this year was to get on X number of podcasts before the end of the year. So I posted on social media, letting people know. And I also told a few people who I knew had podcasts. And immediately I had lots of invitations to do podcasts because I was opportunity focused, but I also made people aware that I was looking for those opportunities. Kind of like what LinkedIn has about the open to work type of thing. So I kind of did that with my opportunity. And I think if someone is looking to take action, they should try to identify, okay, what opportunities can I take advantage of? Because they're all around us. The E endure is very important and dear to me. It's all about eliminating excuses. And I talked about the book, The Magic of Thinking Big, how I learned about how excuse-itis is a failure disease. Well, when it comes to taking action, typically the thing that stops us from taking the action that we know we're supposed to do is an excuse. And the excuse could be, I don't feel prepared, or I don't have time, I don't have money, or people may say no, they may say yes, and I'm not ready, right? So whatever excuse, whatever story we're telling ourselves, it's just an excuse. So E is eliminate the excuse. Unless you have a really good reason to keep it, just eliminate it and move forward. And then the R is all about taking personal responsibility. So R is for responsibility. And there's three main areas that I like to focus on when it comes to responsibility. The first is your attitude. We have to take complete control of our attitude. We can choose to have a positive attitude, a can do attitude, an optimistic attitude, or we can have a bad attitude. It's our choice. So taking complete responsibility for your attitude. The second thing is your personal growth. Personal growth is important. So we have to be responsible for our own personal growth. Percy couldn't read the book for me. He already read it for himself. It was up to me to read it for myself and learn from it. So we have to take that ownership of it, that personal responsibility for our personal growth. And then the third area is all about our character. So character is who you are when no one's looking. And so we have to be responsible, keeping our character intact so that when we show up somewhere, people know, okay, hey, the Michael that's on stage is the same as the Michael who's going to be face to face with me or on a Zoom call with me, right? The same person has to show up over and over and over because that's all a part of character. So really that's what it is. It's discipline, opportunity focus, eliminating excuses and taking responsibility. So I think that if you incorporate those, you will take the appropriate action.
Great recommendation. Tell me about your moniker, the Coach's Tech Guy.
Yes, the Coach's Tech Guy. So that was actually given to me by a group of coaches who I had been serving. So once I became a coach, I tried to separate my 27 years of IT experience from being a coach because I thought I had to. But what I quickly realized was there was coaches who needed help with the tech side of things, especially during COVID, though they really showed up. And so I started incorporating tech and marketing coaching into what I do as a coach. And I absolutely love it. It's a perfect fit. It's given me an opportunity to meet some amazing people like you, Rebecca. I've been able to help them with things that come easy to me. However, they're not as intuitive for other people. So I really get to help people who help people, which is cool.
One of the things that I say when I'm working with you is you make tech fun.
Yeah.
It feels fun. I'm in the flow. So is it just coaches that work with you?
Yes, I work with coaches, speakers. I've had some small business owners. One of my clients is a small church who reached out to me for some tech help.
Michael, this has been so wonderful to spend this time with you today. Any final words you'd like to share?
Yeah, don't let the fear of technology stop you from growing, whether it's a coaching business, whether it's your medical practice, whatever it is, don't let the fear of technology stop you from succeeding in that area. And then a second bit of advice would be dig into personal growth. Personal growth is huge. I'm forever thankful for all the many mentors that I have in my life that continue to inspire me and help me grow on a regular basis. Rebecca, I've enjoyed my time here with you. This has been fun.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your inspiration, and your time. How can people find you?
I'm easy to find on social media. It's Michael J. Pope Jr. on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Then also you can go to my website, michaelpopetraining.com. I also have a book that's on Amazon, Gadget's Guide to Marketing, so you can learn more about me that way as well.
Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I hope today's episode inspired you on your journey of wellness. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a review, subscribing, and sharing it with a friend. Also, I'd love to hear from you. Drop me a message at www.evingsonwellness.com.